welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany, and this is my channel all about cross stitch. And these are my co-hosts, Miss Cam Cam and Mr. Theo. You guys here with me today? We are doing the update for the month of March, and I have so much stuff surrounding me, and a dog who is going crazy. So, please like and subscribe down below. Leave me some comments. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what you're doing. And anything else fun and interesting going on in your life, I would love to hear it. I'm going to do like usual and go through Theo. Let's not have a wrestling match right now while I'm trying to film, okay? Hey, don't bite my blanket, you weirdo. Theo, leave your sister alone. Come here. Get up here and sit with me. There we go. Sorry about the interruption. Somebody was trying to have a good time, wasn't he? You some what? So, anyways, we're going to do like we usually do, where I go through my whips and then haul, and then I'll talk about life updates if you guys want to know. And he's such a little snuggly bear. You're such a big soup. Look at this cute little face. Come here, show everybody. Say, look how cute I am. Look how cute I am. I'm like a little teddy bear. Yes, you are. You guys aren't here to watch me play with my dogs. Theodore. Yes, that's right. I'm breaking out the full name. Theodore Frederick. That's enough. Quit trying to play with your sister like that. Gotta yell at them like children. But we're going to do like I usually do. Whips, haul, and then life update at the end. So that way those of you who only want to see the cross-stitching stuff and don't want to hear about the life update stuff, you don't have to listen into it. Doesn't offend me a bit. I understand. So, we will start with... Oh, geez. I have everything. I should have been a little more organized today. I'm going to bring this over here because there's two patterns I got to show you on here. Okay, so we're going to start with some statistics here. So for the month of March, I stitched 25,399 stitches, and the year total would be 90,180 stitches. Now, we'll do temperature stitching first. So, in the 0 slot is, oh, my brain is going to blank. Pledge of Allegiance by, I believe it's the Cross Stitch Studio. But this is what it'll look like when it is finished. This is where you guys saw it last time. This was started September 30th of 2022. It is stitched on 28 count, 1/1 full cross, and I put in 130 stitches in this month, and it was called One Time. So only once this month did we have a temperature with the second digit being a 0. And I'm going to sneeze, and I'm going to cut this out so you guys don't see it, but it's going to take me a minute to sneeze. So, again, I'm just stitching right along in here. All this is all 310 through here. And let me tell you what, it is a lot of freaking 310 through here. But as you get farther over into the flag, I forget what you call this section of the flag right now because my brain's blanking. But it's the stars of the flag. As the farther you go over, the more blue it gets. So I'll be glad whenever I get in there and there's less grays and blacks and things like that. I think there's a lot of 939 in this part too. Yeah. A bunch of different grays, but we will get there eventually. At least someone's finally settled down, so I'll stick these over the edge of the bed. Alright. Next one. In the number 1 slot is Fairy Tale Village by Arboreal Arts, if I remember right. It is stitched on 25 count, and it was started July 25th of 2022. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it is now. Now, this one got 1,086 stitches this month. And it was called 7 times. So, and I only stitch these at 30-minute increments. But I don't stitch them every single day. Like, I wait until, I'll get the temperatures for half the month. And then sometimes I use the predicted temperatures. Sometimes I use the actual day. Like the first half of the month, I'll use the actual temperatures. The second half of the month, like the last week, I always use the predicted temperatures. So that, because it usually takes me about a day and a half to get all the stitching done. For those, it's essentially like 14 days, 15 to 16 days, depending on how many days are in that month. So, and then I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so like the last week of the month is I always use predicted temperature, so that way I can get it done before I need to film my video. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to finish the temperature stitching until, like, today would be April 1st. So, no, today's the 31st. Yeah, today's the 31st. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to finish stitching this if I waited. So, but I was stitching, I think there was a color in here I stitched, mostly this green. I put in this brown fence, the brown up here. It's just a couple colors just to keep expanding it. But I got pretty far on that one because it was called quite a few times. Well, how many? Let's see. The flag so far this year got 706 stitches, which compared to last year, how many stitches did I totally get into? I only got 2,731 stitches total in Pledge of Allegiance last year. And that wasn't until closer to the end of the year, I want to say. Something like that. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and bore you guys going through all of that. And then Fairy Tale Village, so far this year, I've got 1,849 stitches in it compared to last year when it only got 583. So that's a lot more stitches than I would have put in it otherwise. And then this one will be next, and the number 2 slot. I know you can see out the window right now what that doesn't need. We need to growl and bark out there, okay? I need you to behave. That's Mr. Theo. He's our, if a leaf shakes outside, he's going to let you know. But this is Mini Victorian Garden, correct? Yes, Mini Victorian Garden. This is charted by Haid. The artist is Dominic Davison. It was started April 19th of 2022. It is stitched on 25 count, 1/1 full cross. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it the last time. And this is where it is now. Now, I've just been stitching along in here. I'm trying to get all these threads parked in. And I think what I'm going to have to do, because I can't get into parking. I can't. I just feel like I am changing threads too much. So I'm going to have to start just working in these threads going over this way because I want to get the whole way across. I'm definitely over halfway there, I think. Yeah. What is there? There's a little over 330 stitches, and I'm at almost 200. So yeah, I'm over halfway across the top of it. And this one got 170 stitches this month. And it was cold 3 times. And that's what I mean. Like, because I'm constantly switching stitches, that means it was stitched for an hour and a half. And normally in an hour, I can get approximately about 150 stitches. So I should have had closer to 200 and some just for that hour and a half. But instead, I only got 170 because I'm constantly switching colors. So I'm going to have to start doing cross country on this and just deal with it. So this one got 170 stitches this month. And so far this year, it's got 835 stitches compared to last year, which was only 3,580. So, I mean, with only 3 months in to the year and already putting 835 stitches in it, at least I am getting somewhere. Instead of like before, where a lot of these, it's not that I don't like them, it's just that I find my pretty ladies are funner to stitch and less brain power for me to stitch. Like this, I've really got to pay attention to where the stitches and stuff go, versus where with my fancy lady, I can see a large swath of color and I can just pick that up and I can just go with it. Or it's not so confetti heavy. Cam, I love you, but quit licking your paws. You just got a bath. You don't need. You're already clean. Okay. Next one is this one. Alright, next one is a Dimensions kit. This is In Harmony. I started it December 12th of 2021, and it is stitched on 14 count navy Aida. And this is what it will look like when it's finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where I am now. So this one is in the number 3 slot. And it got called twice this month. And it's still... When I have the film up here, it screws me all up because you can see through it really well. You can see me. But let me see if I bring it a little closer here. But I've just been filling in. I finished off this wolf here. It's going to need its back stitching and stuff. But I have to finish doing all this background first. And then... because the other wolf is done too. Yeah. I might come up next time and finish this wolf right here off and get that done, so that way all the wolves are done and it's just background stitching at that point. And this one got 213 stitches this month, and it would, like I said, it was only called twice. And so far this year, I've stitched 2,126. And if you compare that to last year, I only put 1,056 in it all year. So I've already reached over that goal of what I stitched on it last year. So temperature stitching is really helping me. Like I said, it's not that I don't like these projects. I like to stitch them, but they don't call to me as much as my fancy ladies do, or there's just different projects that I'm super excited to work on. And it's not that I'm not excited to work on these. It's just that I don't know how to describe it. Besides, it's not that I don't like them, it's not that I don't want to work on them. It's just that the fancy ladies are the ones that just, they sing to my soul. There's no other way to put it besides they sing to me, and I enjoy finishing them. And then next one is another Dimensions kit. This one is Indian Peacock by Dimensions. It is stitched on 14 count. I believe it's natural Aida. I don't know if I still have it in here. Yes, 14 count natural Aida, and whatever like the directions says how it is stitched. I started this August 22nd of 2024, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last month. And this is where it is now. So this one was called 3 times, and I got 213 stitches in it. And I was completing, let's see if I can get it. I was completing all this stuff in here. And my lighting's gone now because a cloud rolled through. But I was completing all this here and I did get some back stitch in. That's what's hanging out here is a thread for back stitch to finish doing the back stitch on this side, because that's all completed now. So that's what I was doing on that one. Let's see. Like I said, I got 273 stitches on this. Make sure I'm putting it in the right bag. This month, and total of the year I got 957, and at the end of last year Indian Peacock had 7,240 stitches at the end of the year. That was when I was having fun stitching real quick, but at least with doing the temperature stitching, I'm touching it almost every month, if not every other month, because what was it in? No, it wasn't. It didn't get called last month. Last time it got called was in January. Yeah, January. Yep. Alright, next one. This one is probably one of my favorite ones, because you guys have seen that I have Yorkie puppies. Well, they're not puppies. Cammie just had her birthday, and she is officially 7 years old now. And that means Theo will be... Geez, Theo, how old are you? 4? Yeah, he'll be 4 in July. I had to think there for a minute. This one is a Royalist kit. It is called Yorkshire Terrier. I started it July 1st of 2024, and it is on 14 count white Aida, and this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is what it looks like now. Well, I guess here's what it looked like last time, and here's what it looks like now. So I got all the stitching done here in the face, and then so this is some of its body, and then there's a little cushion that sits right here, and that's what I'm getting ready to finish working on next time this comes out. And this has that acrylic threads on it, and I'm not a big fan of the acrylic threads. Do you need me to move this, Cam? You want up here to lay on Dad's pillow? Come on. And so, I don't know. Let's see. Does it look similar? Okay. Does it look like you? What do we think? Does it look like her? I just need to put a little bow in your hair. Yeah, you just had dinner, so your face is so messy, huh? But that is that one. I think I just started that. Did I just start that this year? Hold on, let me look. No, I started last year. Let's see. How many stitches did that one get last year? Last year it only got 1,961 stitches, and so far this year it's got 1,140 stitches. So, I mean, I'm making pretty good progress on it. I mean, what ones do I think I'll probably finish this year? I think I'll probably finish In Harmony. That might be the only one I finish out of these. And that's fine with me. Yorkshire Terrier is a possibility because it's not a humongous pattern. And I've got quite a good portion of it. Well, I got probably like a third or so of it done. So we will see. Alright, next on the list is Pokemon. This is Pokemon Generation 2. It is a pattern off of Etsy. I believe it's Boris Designings, if I remember right. I started this July 25th of 2022. It is stitched on 28 count, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it is now. Hold on, let me move you over there. So I just was putting in more black outline. And I got 172 stitches this month. And it was called once. Oh, Yorkie was called 4 times last month. Or this month. And this one was called once. So, and how many stitches? I've put 492 stitches in it so far this year. Compared to last year, which I didn't put any stitches in it. So, there's more stitches than I got put on her last year. So there is that one. Isn't she the sweetest? Just love this little turkey. I just love her. Alright, that was Pokemon. Next is Pinup Girls by Soda Stitch. This is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And here it is. Well, we can just leave it folded. And here it is now. I guess we're almost missing a couple stitches here at the corner. And here it is now. This one I started August 16th of 2024. It is stitched on 32 count. Just regular white even weave. This was called Twice this month. And I put 293 stitches in it. And it is stitched 2/2. Because I don't think I mentioned that. And I did say that it was by Soda Stitch. I got 923 stitches total on this year. But this second girl here is coming in pretty nicely. And I'm excited to see this one finished. It's so beautiful. Why did I zip that back up on myself? Let's see. How many stitches did that get last year? 1,992. So, Pinup Girls, 923. So, we're almost 3 months in and almost to the same amount that I stitched last year. Next one. I had planned on doing a whole lot more stitches on this year, but, or this month, but there was just too much going on. Alright, this is my version of the Clouds Factory Epic Princess Sao, but I call it my Epic Disney Sao because I've changed it to what my kids and I's favorite Disney movies, and I have 4 children, so we each picked all of our favorite Disney movies, and I just created this monstrosity of all of our favorite movies. And I still have not charted, I believe it's the Jungle Book yet. But, this is where you guys saw it last month. And this is where it is now. see if I can get it all stretched out here. Hold on. Go this way. I think you guys can see all of it. I mean, this thing is huge. It's like 5 feet long. It's probably about 5 feet long and probably 3 feet wide. 5 feet in width and probably about 3 feet in length and height. But this is what I was working on. I was working on my Dumbo square that I charted. And I think, like, that's Dumbo's trunk there. But I think I'm going to have to take the black back stitching and go up over the top of it. Just so that way we can really see his trunk. But those are those guys. I don't know. If you guys ever want, like, once I finish this, maybe I'll give you guys an up-close view of every single one of them. You would think Finding Nemo would have been the one that I would have charted last on, but nope. It's the Jungle Book. Anyways, this one got this month. Well, I worked on it one day, not for temperature stitching, because I had planned on doing a 4-day rotation for it, but I didn't have the capacity to do it. But for temperature stitching, it got 207 stitches on it, and it was called Twice. Pinup Girls was also called Twice. And I got 772 stitches on it the one day that I did stitch it that wasn't for temperature stitching. So in total, it got 979 stitches this month for a grand total this year of 1,768. And if we compare that to last year, it got 3,832 stitches. So I'm not exactly doing a great job. And I think I did say this was started October 22nd of 2022, and it's stitched on 18 count. So 18 count 2 over 2. I mean, like, it barely all folded up, barely fits in this bag. I should swap it out for one of my bigger bags, but okay. This is the last one for temperature stitching. This is Long Dog Samplers, Pavion for These Times. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. Now, I am stitching this with Painter's Thread Collection, 109 Picasso. This was started July 10th of 2022. It is stitched on 25 count, and it is done 1 over 1 full cross. And so far this month, it got 884 stitches, and it was called for 6 times. So it got lots of love this month. It was the second most called for. Fairy Tale Village was called for 7 times. And let's see. Let me go over to the stats for this. July 10th, 2022, 25 count, 1 over 1. 884 stitches this month, but total for the year was 1,458 stitches. And I was working over here on this motif and finishing it up. I'm excited to see this one finished because I love this Painter's Thread Collection, Picasso. It is just, it sort of fits. I want to hang this up in my living room. It sort of fits like the color scheme in my living room, which is, well, usually I film down there, but the last couple times I've had to film up here because everybody's home and I had to hide somewhere where you guys will be able to hear me. But I can hear my son downstairs pretty good, and I'm praying that you guys can't because he's being kind of loud, but he's playing video games with his friends. But anyways, you guys have seen my living room. It's got different shades of, well, I guess the part you guys see is usually what's in the background is white, the blue wall color, and then I guess you guys see all the inks and things like that. But in the rest of my living room, there's a lot of plants in there, green plants, and then all the like end tables, our TV stand. We have a ladder shelf my son made for me. They're all just like natural wood color. So that's sort of like my color theme for my room. So my fabric is white, and blue and brown are the main shades in the Picasso thread. So that is it for temperature stitching this month. On to the ones I did stitch this month. Okay. Cinderella is by Mirabilia is the first one I stitched this month. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. Move that out of my road. And this is where it is now. Now I'm stitching this with the hashtag. Hold on, let me find it in here. One more, Brittany. This is Allison's Princess Birthday Sal, done by Cross Stitch the Globe. You don't have to stitch Cinderella if you don't want to. You could, it's just anything with a princess on it, and it gave me a reason to start another Mirabilia, so I did. Which I had Ella the Frog Princess already started too, so I guess I could have used that one, but who says I can't start more, right? So this one is stitched on, let me find it, right there, 32 count, and it is stitched 2 over 2, except for skin is done 1 over 1, which we now have a little foot down here. Right there, her little tootsies are finally in there. I keep looking up to make sure I'm in frame. You guys are probably like, why does she keep looking up to the sky? Because I have you cast onto my TV. But, yeah, so I got 2,425 stitches done this month, and I started this January 1st of 2025, so this year. So it's looking pretty good. Let me tell you what, some of the critics for this were a pain in the tuchus. Let's see. Total so far this year is 4,211 stitches. And whenever I do the 1 over 1 stitching, I count those. Even though on the pattern it's 1 stitch, because I've stitched 4 stitches, I'm counting it as 4 stitches because I stitched 4 stitches. I didn't do 1, I did 4. This is this bag. Oh, I'm going to have such a mess to clean up. We'll go with, what was the next one I stitched on? Just go in order by what I stitched. It would be this one. This one is Mirabilia, the Scent of Old Roses. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it is now. This one, I started it November 12th of 2024. It's stitched on 28 count, 2 over 2, except for the skin is done 1 over 1. And this month I put 2,236 stitches on it, and that's how many so this was the first time I picked it up this year. So that's all of them. That's all of it. And it's so pretty. And I know I switched out, instead of, I hate Whisper. It's not a thing. And I recently saw someone saying that they looked at some of their old projects that they've stitched with Whisper thread, and it's like yellowed really bad. So I was like, nah, I don't want that. So I switched out the Whisper in this for $38.65, I want to say. Hold on, let me... Nope, $38.66. Yeah, $38.66. So that way it gave it the warm... It's a warmer white. But that is that one. She's just snoozing away. God love him. You can't even see Theo, but he's down there knocked out. Alright, next one I worked on this month is this one. So, the new part of this came out. This is Bella Filipina Blackwater Siren Sow. So, the next part for this sow came out on March 30th. And I haven't started it yet. And I will start it probably tomorrow. I might start working on it tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. But anyways, so, this is the latest mock-up we have of what it will look like. And then this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it... I don't have anything laying close by, so you're going to see me throw it. This is where it is now. This... Let me turn the page so I can get stats, because I forgot to do that. This was started October 31st of 2024. It is a sow. It is stitched on 32 count, doing 2/2, except for all of the skin is done 1/1. And I put 3,284 stitches into it this month. And for total of this year is 19,158 stitches. But that is that one. And we're on to the last siren. So I gotta put her in here. I will get there. Slowly but surely. I just haven't. Once we get to the life update, we'll all understand. Abby had knee surgery. Grandma Joanne hasn't been doing better now, but it's just been a heck of a month, and hopefully soon we'll get into a rhythm of things. That's what I need right now, is just finding a rhythm again. That is this one. All right, next one I worked on is Gaia the Earth Goddess by Bella Filipina. And this is what she will look like when she is finished. And this is where you guys saw her last time. And this is where she is now. See if I can get her on frame here. Nope, I need it on this side, so I can see where she's at. So this month I put 1,493 stitches on her. I started her March 30th of 2023, and she's stitched on 28 count. She is done 2/2, except for the skin is done 1/1. And this is the first time I picked her up this year. So that's all the total amount of stitches I got for her this year. And that is Gaia, the Earth Goddess. Abby saw me stitching on her, and she has claimed her for her room. So when she's finished and I frame her, I know where it's going. She wants Gaia, the Earth Goddess, in her room. And she is very pretty. I don't blame her. But I was working on, if I remember right, all of this down here. I'm pretty sure. That's where I was. Lots and lots of different yellows. Lots of them. But I'm hopeful I can finish this year. I don't want to make any promises though, because sometimes I get a bug and I start a million different things. Or, you know, something else says, stitch me, stitch me. Okay, next one is Mirabilia, Maiden of the Season. Now, this would be Maidens of the Seasons 1 and 2 now, because 1 and 2 are now officially on here. On Maidens of the Season 2, I put in 2,424 stitches. And on Maidens of the Season 1, I put 658 stitches. These are all by Mirabilia, and this is what both of those images look like, and this is where you guys saw her last time, and this is where she is now. Oh, I forgot to turn the page. Turn the page. This one was started December 10th of 2024. And it is stitched on 32 count. It is stitched 2 over 2, except for the skein is done 1 over 1. See, if I turn it that way, you can really see it. And like I said, for Maidens of the Season 2, 2,424 stitches. And then, because it switched to spring, and I said, like, each season I'll work on them in that particular season. Because while I was stitching on it, it switched over to spring. I had to stitch the summer block over, and then this is the spring block. And Maidens of the Season got 658 stitches. So I think it was only like a day worth of stitches on this one. So there was also a disaster with this one. My friend has a lot of the out-of-print Mirabilia charts. And she lent me Maidens of the Season 2. And she just assumed she had Maidens of the Season 1. And when I was like, hey, can I go ahead and borrow your Maidens of the Season? So that way I can, you know, let me see if I'll show you the whole piece. So I can, you know, it switched over to, it's going to switch over to spring whenever I go to stitch this next. Can I borrow your Maidens of the Season? And she's looking high and low, and she's like, I can't find it, I can't find it, I can't find it, I can't find it. And I about cried, because I already had it this far. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So, thankfully, I went to eBay, and I just bought Maidens of the Season myself, and now I have it. So, crisis averted. I got the pattern, so I can stitch it. And her birthday's coming up soon. I mean, she's already said when she passes, she's gonna give me all the patterns that she has. So any of them that I would have duplicates of or anything, I'll just either give away on here or sell. One of the two. And I feel like doing a giveaway with them, because they were just given to me, feels like the best option. Because if there's any like out of print ones that she has and I have, I think it would be a good way to give it to, you know, somebody else. So that way people, like, there's, how much people charge for that is insane. But I started Maidens of the Season on March 19th. So I guess it wasn't, but whatever. I must have finished the top half of winter and didn't feel like going down into the bottom half. So I was just like, oh, it's close enough. And switched over to the last day. That must be what it was. And then I stitched my Disney piece, which I already showed you guys. And then I stitched Ella, the Frog Princess by Mirabilia. And this is what she would look like. Well, somewhat what she would look like, because I'm doing a skin conversion. But this is what she'll look like mostly whenever she is finished. And this is the last time you guys saw her. And this is where she is now. I'm getting so much shadow. But there's not much I can do about it. Darn sun decided to leave me. And then I forgot to turn the page. I'm not doing great today, guys. So, this one got 3,064 stitches. I started this November 1st of 2024. And then I lose my spot right there. Stitched on 28 count, 2 over 2, except for the skin is done 1 over 1, and I dyed this fabric. I always dye my fabrics myself, unless I tell you that I did not dye my fabric. Unless I tell you what the name is of the fabric that I'm stitching on, I've dyed it myself. But this is where she is. I was stitching all over here. Putting all this in. Put more of her. I think that's the last of her skin that I needed to put in. And then into this part of her dress. I think all this. Hold on. I think all that over there is finished. If I remember right, all this is finished. It shows up more in real life, but the way that these gosh darn cameras and stuff pick up this purple, like this is a very pale purple, and it's just this almost looks like the same color as the fabric, and it's not. And that's that for that one. She is looking good. Okay, the next one I stitched on. Hold on. Oh, hip locked up there for a second. That's what happens when you already have arthritis in your hips, man. Yeah. Me bones. Next one. I'm hoping you guys can't hear Lydia. She's talking to her friends. The next one is The Spirit of Christmas by, is it Lavender and Lace or Butternut Road? I believe it's Lavender and Lace. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it is now. Now this one is being stitched for my sister Christy. She came over to my house and she saw my Mirabilia Winter White Santa and she wanted it. And I thought about stitching it a second time just for her, but then I was like, I don't want to stitch it a second time unless like I really, really have to. So instead, I think I got Spirit of Christmas and is it the Gift of Christmas? I don't remember, but they're both Lavender and Lace patterns. So I went ahead and shared it with my sister Charlie, and her name is, it's Charlie. Everybody wants to call her Shirley, and that's not it. It's like Charlie, but with a sh, with an SH in the front. So Charlie. She gets real frustrated because everybody gets her name wrong. But yeah, so this is being stitched for my sister Kirsty, so she can have a Santa, and it won't be as huge as Winter White Santa either. But this one I started January 27th of 2025. It is stitched on 28 count, 2/1, except for the skin is done 1/1, and I put 3,146 stitches in this. So for the total of the year, I've got 9,395 stitches on it. And I'm pretty much working on this one every single month until it's finished. And then, if you see right here, there's beads here, and then all these little wee spots around here is beaded as well. Those aren't actually supposed to be beads, and I put Mill Hill 2011 in here because it matches pretty closely with the, if you see the Kernich in there, the back stitching there. I don't know, you probably really can't see it shimmer or anything, but it matches pretty closely to that. And this one didn't originally have any beads in it, so, and I didn't feel like stitching little wee tiny ninja stitches for of Kernich all over the place like that, so I just beaded it instead, and I like that effect better. And I've got to be missing some beads down in here or something, because it needs a sprinkle of something, and I'm gonna, if it's not charted that way, I'm going to be putting extra in there, because I think right now it looks silly. But yeah, that is The Spirit of Christmas. Isn't it beautiful? The folds of that fabric and stuff is so, like, because I'm a painter, and I have to do that all the time, I know with painting, it's very subtle shifts in color. And when I have to do clothing, I don't think I have a picture of it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a picture of one of my paintings of clothing. I'm not sure if it would be in here. But the shift that you have to do in painting just to make that look realistic No, it's not really. I mean, I guess this is one I did of Harry Potter. You see how the shading and everything in the clothing is. But that's not the one I was looking for. I don't think it's in here. What a bummer. Got a lot of pictures of my nephew in here like crazy. Holy cow. I never realized how many I had of them. I'm not going to be able to find the picture I'm freaking looking for. And that makes me sad. Yeah, I did. Okay. That's kind of crappy picture. But this is a picture before I changed her face because she just looked wrong. Her face looked wrong. But you see the folds in the fabric? I guess it's not. Stop. Ugh. I just fixed it the way I wanted it. You see the folds? Let's see. Focus. There we go. See the folds in the fabric? And the way it's all done. It's such simple color shifts. This is another painting I did, but there's no skin in that. There's only skin in that one. There's no clothing. I don't think there's any other ones in here. My aunt just requested that I make her a painting, and so I gotta bust out all my paints and everything again, and I'm gonna have to put my cross stitching down for a little bit. They're just simple flowers, so I gotta make those. I gotta make them. I really need to weed out some pictures in here. Geez, some of these are like the picture of my new floor or something like that. That's stupid. This is probably one of my favorite paintings I've ever done. It's a blue rose. Isn't it gorgeous? I think this is one of my best portraits I've ever done. Like, there's no denying that that's Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. There's no denying that. Sometimes I look back at these things. This is a painting my cousin requested I do for him. Why does it look like the people are... I mean, their skin tone. I wonder if I get it closer. I think it's just the screen. They look gray, black and white, but they're not. They're skin tone colored. This was a series of photographs or paintings I did for my aunt. Like if I blow these up. That was one. And this one was a daisy in a little pink tub with bubbles over it. And then pretty much a duplicate of that same other one. Oh, this one was done for my husband's aunt and uncle. Oddly, I can do 1,000,001 different things. But anyways, since I got off on... We were talking about the folds of the fabric. Like, I can imagine how much harder it is to do those folds. With, like, this is a very limited color palette. You know, with my paints. Oh gosh, I think I have... Again, I paint with acrylics, so it can be a little more challenging. Because oils, you have a lot more workable time with them versus where acrylics you don't. But I'm just an impatient person, and I can't wait for a month on end for an oil painting to dry. I'm just not that person. But, yeah. So, I assume that's probably pretty challenging. Alright. So, if we can't see my stash over here, I went on a little bit of a spending spree, which I shouldn't have, but I did. And I bought some new stuff this month. And this is another Riolis kit, but it had stranded cotton with it. And I was like, perfect, because that acrylic thread wasn't my favorite. And it has my favorite bird on it, which is a peacock. And this is called Eastern Fairy Tale. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. I need to move this out of my road. And this is where I got to. 2,013 stitches is what I got. So I started this March 27th of this year, and I stitched on 14 count natural Aida. That's how far I got. I mean, that's a pretty good spot. It's like a quarter of the pattern. You know, I'm getting somewhere. It's not perfect, but I got somewhere. And it's stitched. There's it's stitched however the pattern calls for. Some of it is like 3 strands full cross. Some of it is 3 strands half cross. Some of it is 2 strands half cross. Blends out the wahoo. You name it. It is in this bugger. Alright. On for things I bought this month. I guess I'll do the stuff that's on the tablet first. And I don't need this anymore. So I can set that over there. There you go again. What are you doing chewing at your tootsies? Don't pick on your tootsies. Leave your tootsies alone. Alright. We can see all the patterns I've been working on. Alright, so this is the first one that I'm going to show you that I bought as soon as it loads. Listen, I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of this, and it's made in Ukraine, and it's from Etsy, and I'll link the seller for it here. And I believe it was just called Owl on there. But look at that. Isn't that cute? I loved it. And I was like, I must stitch that. And it kind of, like, you need Eloite, Diamond, Satin, Diamond Grande. So, I will have to get all those. And Mill Hill, there's beads on there. There's DMC. And then the second one I got, which I have it's mostly kitted right here. I'm just waiting for a few more things to come in. And then I will have it all. Is the same designer and everything, made in Ukraine. And this is a bee one, and I love bees. And I was just like, I gotta stitch that. And it's got all kinds of specialty stitches in there and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I gotta start this ASAP. So I'm waiting for the rest of the stuff to come in. And guess who's gonna start another one? Me. And then I think I'm gonna dye the fabric for it. Maybe like a dirty tan color. Like a natural Aida color. Alright. Let's come here with all my purchases. So, I got Dimensions Gold. What's this one? Wintertime Fairy. She is gorgeous. And there's all kinds of blending filament and stuff like that in her. And I'm excited to stitch this one. I'm not big on the wings and things like that, but I'm not big on fairies, but this one is, I mean, it looks more like butterfly wings. But that's okay. We're just going to stitch the wings in it because I don't feel like figuring all that background out. Some of it would be hair and some of it would be background, and I'm just not interested. It looks like it's all stitched on white. So I'm excited to start that eventually. And then I also saw Dancing Fall Fairy. And I was like, yes, I have to have that one too. I don't know. If we go like that. I mean, we get a little bit of a... Theo, you hit that one more time, bud, and we're going to go crump over to the side. So, Theo just hit it. Cam, stop it. Leave your tootsies alone. You got a mat in there or something? Let me see. No, no mat. Leave your tootsies alone. I know what it is. She has allergies out the butt, and grass in her, not friends. No. So I saw this one, and I was like, yes, have to have it. So I'm hoping that they're going to have a springtime, something spring fairy and something summer fairy, because guess what? You suckered me in, and I'm going to do it. Someone over here, she's just like, give me attention, Mom, please. All right, and then we'll do more Corbett designs. This one is Moon Glow, which most of you guys probably have seen. So I got that one. And then I got Floral Dream, which most of you guys have probably seen that one. But they are beautiful and I had to have them. And then I got Mirabilia, Savannah's Curtsy. And I bought Nora Corbett, the Rain Queen, because it reminds me of Mirabilia, Cathedral Woods Goddess. So, out of that. And I think she has another one that's similar too. I think it's like Pussy Willow or something like that. I can't remember. Theo. I'm so sorry you guys are crooked, but I'm not spending the time to do it. And then the last one I bought is Maidens of the Season. Because this was an emergency purchase and I almost bawled. But I was able to find it, and I forget how much I paid for it, but it wasn't completely an utterly ridiculous price. But those are all the things that I acquired this month. Hold on, he's going to jump. Alright, we didn't get knocked off. But that is everything I acquired this month. And then on to life update. I don't know why I closed all this, because I'm going to need it. And we're going to sit here and I'm going to hold this up and we're going to act like we're reading bedtime stories. So Grandma Joanne started her chemotherapy and all that stuff this month. It started, I believe it was March 3rd. Or was, yeah, it had to have been. Damn. It had to have been March 3rd. Come on. Come up here. It had to have been March 3rd that she started it. I'm pretty sure. And Wednesday night she got, oh, Theo. Wednesday night she got, very, very, she was vomiting a lot from it. And, didn't know if because she received it Monday and then was pretty sick come Wednesday night. And she didn't know if she wanted us to come up there. And I'm like, lady, I'm coming up there whether you want me or not, because I need to put eyes on you and make sure you're doing all right, because I know you and I know you'll downplay what's going on, and I'm not having that. So I went up and I saw her that Friday, and she just, it was one of the worst things that you have to watch. As she went to go, she was like a jellyfish. She had no strength, very weak, and tired. And so she called her doctor, because she was like, I don't, like, if this is the way this is going to make me feel, like, it's not worth all this it's making me feel 10 times worse than I do with the disease. Although she doesn't get treatment, and it would be, I mean, hopefully this treatment will work. If it works, then, and puts her back into remission for it, then she has, you know, as long as she stays in remission, she's fine. But if it doesn't work, it's anywhere from 6 months to a year that she'll have left to live. So hopefully it's all working, and that's that. But she was able to get a hold of her doctor, and they had her stop the one hazardous pill that she was supposed to take, and then stopped her from, she was supposed to have a second round of chemo on the 10th. Now, it had to have been, first round of chemo had to have been February 24th. First round of chemo had to have been February 24th. I feel like. Because March 10th, she was supposed to go and get her second round of chemo, and, well, her second treatment of chemo. And it, she couldn't go because we were taking her to get, she was just so, that Friday she needed to go and get her blood work done, but she didn't have the gumption to go up and do it. And then I talked to her, and I was like, we'll get you into the hospital. I'll push you, you know, sit down and you can go get your blood work and stuff done. And, I'll push you in a wheelchair and stuff. But she toughed it through, and she walked on with her wheelchair. But, I mean, it took us a while to get there. And then, thank God she went and got that blood work done, because they found out that her red blood cells were almost non-existent. And so they were like, stop the hazard pill. You're not coming in and getting your chemo. But what we are doing is you're going to come, she had to go back down and get more blood work done to see where she was at again. And they had came up very, very little bit. So they were trying to decide whether or not they were going to have to do a blood transfusion or an iron infusion. And thankfully, because she had to go and get blood work a couple days in a row, and thankfully it was very minutely coming up, so they decided to do the iron infusion instead. And that made her, she wasn't weak anymore. I mean, she was still, she still gets a little more exhausted than she usually is. But, I mean, like, it was, you could just look at her and you could tell that she did not feel good, and she wasn't complaining at all. But she's just not a complainer. But I could look at her and I could tell that, well, I've been around her for how many years? Lydia's going to be 10 this year, so like 11 years. So I know when she's not feeling well, and you could tell that she just wasn't feeling well, and that just made my heart plummet, because I thought, oh no, if like this is the reaction she's having, there's no way they're going to continue letting her do this, and like that's it. That's a wrap. Like there's nothing else that we could, you know, possibly do, because this is the only combination that they know of that can suppress amyloidosis without getting a stem cell transplant, and she can't have another stem cell transplant because she's 80 years old. And I'm like, I'm spiraling, but, you know, keeping my cool for her, but myself, it's like everything's flying through my brain of like, well, what can we do? Like, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something. But at the same time, like, it's her body and it's her choice, and she's still very sound mind. She can make up her own decisions yet. So it's not like I can, you know, hog tie her and throw her in the trunk and take her to the doctor's office, you know, and force her to get treatments and stuff. And I have to respect her decisions. And, cause she was saying to me, she's like, I don't know if I want to continue to do this. And I just kind of said to her, you know, give it the good old college try. Do the full round of chemo. You know, you only got one treatment so far, and I forget how many treatments there are in this round. Get the results back. See if it's, you know, lowering your amyloid protein in your system, and then make a decision. And then she just went, not this Monday, the following Monday, and got her second round of chemo done, because they were able to do the iron infusion, and that just picked her up immediately. And then, so she got that done, and they did her chemo last Monday, and then she went, she got chemo Monday. Thursday she went and got an iron infusion, and has been able to take her hazardous pills. I think there's like 3 or 4 other pills she has to take with this, along with her chemo. So she was able to take all that cocktail, and then I saw her Saturday, and I was taking the leaves and stuff out of her flower beds and things like that for her, and she looked good. Like, you could tell that she was getting out of breath a little bit easier, or that she didn't have as much energy as she usually does. But compared to how it was her first, and her first, I don't even know what for Christ's sakes, I was a cancer patient myself, and I don't know, I guess, I don't even know what they could call it, but her first round of, her first chemo treatment, compared to her second chemo treatment with the iron infusion and things like that. Like, I'm glad they were able to find some sort of, like, workaround for it. And, complete another night and day, and she wasn't weak, and so, like, it was I'm so glad that she agreed to go ahead and give it the good old college try here of, at least. So, oh, there goes Cam. I'm sorry, guys. So, it's such a relief. I don't know how else to describe it besides, it is such a relief that they've found something that will work, so that way she will continue to get these treatments for now, because it's not making her feel real bad. And if you pray, please say a prayer for her that it'll get rid of the amyloidosis out of her system. Well, I guess you can't get rid of it, but send it back into remission, so that way it's not attacking her organs anymore. And if you don't pray and you just send it up to the universe, or want to, just wish her good well, please. I mean, at this point, I'll do anything. Anyways, so Abby had her knee surgery. Well, I guess you fixed your brother's mistake. You sat on it and it worked. Can come here. Come up here to me. But you usually lay right here in my arms like a baby. Okay, so Abby had her surgery March 12th. And it's another reason why, like, it's just been crazy, bouncing back and forth between Grandma Joanne and her. But, so they had to take the tendon on the inside of her kneecap. They folded it over on itself and tightened it. So it's a little extra tight right now. And then laparoscopically, they went and got rid of all the scar tissue. And then, I guess, from her kneecap slipping out, they also had to, like, grind something down to get rid of all the grooves from her kneecap constantly trying to slip out. And, she was on crutches for about 2 weeks. And this past Friday, so what's today, Monday, so 3 days ago, she got put into her brace that, unless you bend it locks, so you can't bend your knee more than at a certain percentage. And right now she's at 30%. But when she's weight bearing, do you want me to move Daddy's pillow some? Give you more space? When she's weight bearing on it, she has to lock it in the straight position. So she can't bend her leg yet when she's walking. She actually starts physical therapy tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, the first week was pretty hellacious, because she was just in a lot of pain, and she's not a complainer, and I just felt so bad for her. I got a dog fuzz on my bed, and there wasn't much I could do, and they gave her this little machine that went over top of her knee, and it would send ice cold water it would circulate around on her knee to help keep swelling and stuff down. And thankfully she didn't have much swelling at all. And she loved that thing. And that thing was a pain in the butt because it was like a little cooler with like a pump in it that would send the ice cold water up tubes. And then it would go over this little pad and then back down into the machine. And that thing was a pain in the butt because you'd get probably about 4 hours of it before you had to go and switch out the water and the ice and put more in it. And she loved it so much. Oh my God, she used it forever before I was like, all right, we got to stop this. And then a week after surgery is done, she started school again. And that's been, I mean, she's done pretty good with it. So not much I can really say about that. And then on March 15th, we had really bad, severe weather. We actually had a tornado touchdown. How many miles is that from my house? I guess I could Google it right here, huh? Oh, gosh. Crampy and not. My brain isn't function. $18 miles. 18 miles. And that's not the way the crow flies. That's through on roads. So it's 18, or that's not 18 miles. It's 18 minutes. So it's 18 minutes from my house. And it helps if I can freaking read right. So 18 minutes from my house, we had 2 tornadoes touch down there. And here we got a severe microburst. There were trees down all over the place. Power lines were knocked out left and right. There was over 100,000 people in our town, well, in our area without power. Some people, that happened on a Saturday, and some people didn't even get their power back until Wednesday because of how many trees and stuff were down. Right up here at the top of my road, a tree just snapped and landed right on the power lines and knocked out the power for the hospital and all of our area. And usually, I mean, we might be without power for 15 minutes because we are attached to the hospital grid, so it's always one of the first ones they fix. But because of how much, because of like the tornadoes and everything else, power went out probably about 1:15 or so, I want to say. Maybe a little later than that. And it didn't come back on until almost 8 o'clock at night. So we were actually without power for quite a while. Part of... I live by our fairgrounds. And we have what's called the grandstand down there. And it's where, like, they've had NSYNC come down there. Chris Brown come down there. Morgan Wallen played there last summer. Jeff Dunham's come there and performed. Like, they get pretty good. Who else has been down there? Like, they usually get, like, actual real bands or, you know, actual real celebrities or comedians and things like that will go down there and perform. And so it's a pretty big moneymaker for our area. But a portion, thankfully, it wasn't like the whole, like, roof, the entire, like, trusses and everything else coming off. It was just oh my God, they put a new metal roof on that thing not too long ago, too. But, like, the roof and the shingles and everything else just went flying off that sucker. And, because we ended up with a microburst that came through here. And, I mean, it just ripped things apart. And, like, this is literally 3 days after Abby had surgery. So we were like, we literally just got home from the store because we knew the storms were coming. So we were like, all right, I'm going to go out to the store, get the things we need, get them all put in the fridge and freezer, get everything put away so that way we have what we need and everything else. So we literally pulled in, and then our phones are going off. The radio in the car is going off like crazy. letting us know that we have a tornado warning and to get inside and get down in your basements and take cover and things like that. And my husband and I are looking around and he's like, oh, it's not too bad yet. And I was like, yeah, but we should probably get in there and get Abigail downstairs because she's upstairs in her room. She's on crutches. She can't, like, it takes a while to get her down the stairs. And he was like, oh, no. We're going to leave that right there for now. And it'll be okay. And I didn't like that answer. And we put all of our groceries away. And I had to go to the bathroom. And our bathroom was right next to her room. And I went to the bathroom. And I could see our basketball hoop. It's one of those freestanding ones. And all of a sudden you just see it could just like boom. Like just smack down on the ground. And I yelled and I was like, Abby, start unhooking all your tubes and everything. And get prepared to come down them stairs because I don't care what Dad says. Like, you're coming. And as soon as I walked out of the bathroom door, my husband was already in there, like, starting to get her down the stairs. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I started to see it, started to whip outside. And he's like, I had enough. She's coming down the stairs. And then he wanted to re-hook her up to all of her stuff. And I was like, no, don't hook her up, re-hook her up, because we literally live next to a fire hall. And I was like, if we hear the sirens, then we'll head down the stairs to our basement. And he was going to hook her back up to all that stuff. And I was like, no, don't hook back up all of her tubes and all that stuff. Like, don't hook that back up, because if we hear that siren going, like, I'll get Damon and Lydia and the dogs, and, you know, have Damon and Lydia each grab a dog. I'll grab a dog, and we'll get those, like, Damon can carry 2 of the dogs, for Christ's sakes. They're, like, freaking 5 pounds. And send those 2 downstairs. I mean, you can work on getting her down the stairs. And, like, if those sirens go off, like, we're not going to have time to unhook her. So just leave that stuff off for now. And we just used ice packs to stick over her knee for that part. And then the power went out. And so I was like, well, we'll see how long this lasts. But I have pictures of, I think it's just the grandstand's roof that got tore off. And then once the tornado warning finally went away, like I said, we were pretty good around here. I mean, other than like the winds being ridiculous, like pretty gosh darn bad. That's whenever everything like died down and everything was good and the threat was well past us by then. We went outside to just check and make sure that no shingles came off our roof, that no soffit or fascia was ripped off. Just make sure everything was good. And like we literally walked out the door and we saw shingles laying on our deck. And I was like, oh no. Like the roof will be 10 years old. Like, it's not even old enough yet. So then, my husband just started walking around the house, and I ended up just picking up the shingles, that piece of shingle, to chuck it in the bin. And I looked at it and I'm like, Ray, it's not our shingle. It's not the right color. Like, it's not from our roof. And he was like, it's not? And I was like, no, ours is a dark charcoaly gray. And I was like, this is like, pale gray. Like, it's not even the same color. Ours is almost, like, if you look at it, it looks almost black, but, you know, if you get up close to it, it's actually more like a charcoaly gray. And I was like, this is, like, got a lot of white stones in it. Ours doesn't have that. And he was like, oh, okay. And then, he's just like, all right, cool. And then we went back inside and we were sitting down, and that's whenever we saw that the grandstand roof, there was actually video of it when it flew off, and you just saw shingles and stuff shatter everywhere. And I was like, how much do you want to bet that, like, that's where this is coming from? Because, like I said, like, if I really want to, I could look out my window right now and I could see the grandstands if I wanted to. So it's not like it's that far from our house. It's not that close that, like, when the bands and stuff like that are playing, like, it's pretty cool. I can just go outside and sit on my deck, and I don't have to pay to listen to them. I mean, I can't see them, but I don't have to pay to listen to live music because I can hear it from my deck. But it's not so close that it's so loud that you can't go to sleep at night. I guess is my point. So that was the 15th. And then I told you guys about Abby going back to school. And then on March 21st, Abby got her stitches out. And then March 24th, we had another bad storm with winds. And, not the 24th, the 23rd. We had another bad storm with winds. And thankfully nothing happened here, but our neighbor lost some fascia off of his house. At first, my husband thought it was ours, and I was like, that doesn't look like both of our fascia is white. So he's like looking around. That's whenever I looked up at our neighbor's dormer, and I was like, no, it goes right there. You can see where it got, you can even see where it came off and bent and got sheared off from the winds. And he was like, oh, thank God it's not our house. I said, yeah, thank God it's not our house. But, you know, I still feel bad for the neighbors. But anyway, so that happened Sunday evening. And where my husband works, their systems and stuff require internet. And everybody showed up, first shift showed up to go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, I think it is, right now. I think in the summertime it'll be like 5. They show up. But at like 6 o'clock, they showed up there to go ahead and work. And nobody knew it, but they had a tree a little farther down fall over, and it knocked out all of their internet lines. And without the internet, they can't do any of their work. So my husband got called, he's supposed to be in at 3 o'clock, and they called him at 2 and was like, don't show up, because they've been over here trying to get this. We've been given estimates on when this is going to be fixed. And like I said, well, that was the 23rd. On the 15th, we had bad weather. And on the 23rd, we had bad weather. So it's not even a whole 10 days in between where people still are right now getting like internet and things like that still fixed because how many trees and stuff came down. And they couldn't give them an estimate on when they were going to be up to get it done. But they ended up getting it done at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning that night. So he was able to go on the 24th or 25th to work because nobody knew that the power went out. And that is it for my month of me blibber blabbering and chattering along. But it has been, it hasn't been a bad month. It's just been a stressful month in the sense of like Grandma Joanne being sick, Abby having surgery, and getting everybody taken care of and making sure that, you know, they're both taken care of to the best of the ability. And then Lydia is still, her birthday is this month, she'll be 10. So, you know, she still needs that love and care. And I mean, yes, she's a very independent child, but, you know, she still needs her mom. So making sure that, you know, that I spread the care everywhere and the love and everything like that, and still have time to sit down and relax myself, so I'm not getting burnout either. I have 2 of the cutest little snoozing little bucket heads down here. They love these stinking blankets. They're so freaking fluffy. But that is all I have to share with you guys this month. Theo, you just lay right there. I'm almost done. We don't need another freak out moment. But that is everything I have to share with you guys this month. And I hope you guys have a good month this month. And I'll see you guys next month. Bye.